Hi, my name is Christophe Bonneau. I graduated ISIT in 2009 and then moved on to a number of studies, including at the London School of Economics, at the Seoul National University in South Korea, and then moved on to a number of jobs, including first within the United Nations system, within the UNESCO, based in Paris, and then the United Nations Development Program, that's the development arm of the United Nations, before joining the French government within the economic business, if you like, where in the French Ministry of Economy and Finance, within French embassies, that's called the Economic Departments of French Embassies Abroad. First one based in South Korea, in Seoul, in charge of development and macroeconomic and trade matters, and then moving on to the French Embassy in the United States, where I'm currently Deputy Economic Counselor in charge of business affairs, as well as manufacturing issues and the development of French companies in the United States and the preservation and deepening of the French-American relationship. I think the common point of all those experience and training parts of my life are the deepening of the mutual understanding between different nations. And that's really my main motivation when I decided to join ISIT back in the late 2000s. And to me, it was the opportunity to work on the mutual understanding beyond cultural barriers, beyond differences in languages, in business background, in different understanding of international relations, of economic links, and to bring people together to come to common ground, to common understanding. One example of that is the current work that we're doing within the French Embassy in the US. In the current political context in the United States, there's a lot of questions, debate on what it means to have relationships with other countries. That's on economic, political matters. And we at the French Embassy go and reach out to different stakeholders. That's, for example, within the US Congress, within the US administration, within local governments, state governments. We reach out to them and explain to them why France is a good economic partner. So what the common ground between all of those things is, at the end of the day, we go there, we reach out to them, and we try, and beyond a lot of different perspectives, beyond language barriers, beyond differences in culture, in history, that we have a lot in common. And France, for example, you might not know, but it's the only G7 country that's never been at war with the United States. And when you say that to a number of people there, suddenly the climate, the discussion takes a different dimension. So the importance in any matter that you want to address with the United States and its people, you have to really take a look at where they come from, their fight for independence, the importance of resilience within the nation, the civil war, a number of things that have direct effect on their personal behavior and on their attitude and on some of their decision making. So I think ISIT, when I was at ISIT, I think that was one of the primary focus, was to, interculturalism. So that's a concept that might be very abstract to many people, but that has concrete and operational results and effect on our job and on our relationship with our partners and stakeholders on a daily basis. I think there is a lot of optimism on both sides, both of the French companies and the US players that we deal with on that. Sometimes I even want to say that they tend to criticize our own lack of optimism as French people, as we tend to, if you like, in the US there is this cultural trait that you need to always see the positive side of everything. Otherwise you can be easily stigmatized as someone being very critical, or as someone being, lacking energy or lacking motivation. So when I deal with US stakeholders, I've learned to always look at the bright sides of things, also as a matter of credibility for my own relationship with them. And even beyond that possible lack of optimism that we have in France is also towards ourselves. And American people usually tell me, well, why don't you guys sell yourself a little bit more? We tend to always underestimate our own potential. When we talk about the French economy, you know, they always talk to us and say, well, you have, you know, world-class infrastructure, you have lots of great universities, lots of research, lots of Nobel Prize, and we're always like, yeah, but we don't have the Silicon Valley. So, but why do you care about that? You've got this, and this. Look at the positive things that you have, and that you can sell to the US, and that applies to the French economy. That we probably there's a lot of potential to even showcase it even better to the American audience. But that applies to the individual level as well. So when I'm with French companies, there's a lot of work that we have to do when they want to sell to the US to just learn how to sell themselves and not just focus the conversation on, you know, their lack of financing, but rather on the great technology that they have. And this is something that I think we need to learn also from Americans. And given our great potential, I think there's a lot of bright future on, you know, even more multiculturalism, learning from other ways, learning from other habits, learning, benchmarking on what's successful in other countries, and the US is definitely a great source for that.